I finally finished this one. I worked on this for longer than I would have normally with other projects. But I was excited for Little Witch Academia, and it was a fun project, and I don't know. Sometimes I just spend too long on things and poke at them for too long. But I'm happy with the result. It's sitting here over there in my office, not flickering because I haven't turned it on. But I'm happy with it. And we're going to be splitting this up into 2 sections because, of course, I have the content here on YouTube or Facebook or whatever media you're going on, and also on my website where I have the subscriber-based tutorials and all the wiring and lineup stuff. That's there. So if you're looking for that, check out the subscriptions and all that good promotional stuff. Oh well. So this is largely MDF. This is medium density fireboard, hardboard. It's a mixture of pulp and resin, and it's a lighter, more easily kind of cut and manipulated wood. I use it because it's more consistent than, say, hardwood, and it's very cheap, and I don't necessarily need the strongest wood in the world. So I'm going to be using the dovetail saw here to be cutting these nice smooth curves, and the scroll saw for the more detailed cuts, such as around the head there. Now, there is 3 layers to this. 2 of them, the top and the bottom, are the 3/4 inch MDF, and then I have a 1/4 MDF sheet in the middle. That's the sheet that's going to be actually holding the gems, but the other 2 parts of the sandwich are going to be what sort of support it. Alright, and for this project I got myself some new drill bits for my press drill, and I'm really happy with kind of the look that I got from it, because we have these nice clean holes combined with the more organic wood shape and complexness of that. So it had these nice clean, perfectly circular holes along with a more complex shape. I'm repeating myself. I don't know how to further elaborate on that. Anyway, I've got the 2 pieces clamped together because I want those holes to line up. The drop on my press drill is not exactly enough but to go completely through, but I can mark it, so I was able to at least make sure that they line up. There were 1 or 2 that were maybe a tiny bit off, not significantly, at most 1/8 of an inch, which to me is a lot. I'm not going to say 1/8 of an inch. It was very, very close to being completely lined up. And the same story goes with the 1/4 inch middle section, but those holes were smaller, so it was less of an issue to line those up. Oh well. So we are largely going to be sanding this with a belt sander. It makes much quicker work than if I were doing this by hand, and it saves me a lot of trouble. You'll be seeing a lot of me sanding things with swords and things like that now that I have my workshop, and it's amazing. It saves me so much time. However, it gets dust everywhere. Oh well. So once we do have them cut out and relatively shaped, I wanted to make sure that they were close and that I was safe with them. There is a spot in the middle of the handle. You can see it there in the middle of the screen where it's about half an inch, a little bit more than half an inch wide. And I was a little worried that because of the weight to strength ratio, I was going to have a problem at that particular point. But it was fine. The 1/4 inch is thicker there, and so at that one spot, I was able to rely on the strength of the 1/4 inch to support the weight of the wand. But if it were to break, it would be right there at the very small section where the gem is sticking out of the side near the head, where they transition. So it's accurate, but boy, is that not a good design. That is a really good way to snap it right there at the head. Oh, it's cool. I really like it. That's amazing. I'm happy with it. The entire piece was glued together with Weldwood contact cement, and left overnight to cure while it did so. So while that was doing that, the wood was doing that. I took the gems that I got. These are beads, and we're going to be spray painting them with a transparent spray paint. Acrylic beads don't take very well to dyeing, so we had to get creative in how we want to color, and I couldn't find a blue gem at the store I was at, so I improvised and worked with what I had to make a blue gem. And they fit quite nicely into the slot, and I don't even use glue except for the ones that stick out slightly near the, or stick out towards the bottom, because they just are very, very tightly fitted into the wood and it holds it very neatly into place. So yay! So once I have a base shape done and they're all glued together, I'm going to begin filing and sanding so that it looks like one unified piece of wood. And as you guys know from my tutorials, I try to cut as much of that away as possible. Like, I hardly showed you any of me sanding with the belt sander, and I'm only going to show you a few seconds of me working with this rasp. But a lot of time is actually spent going and smoothing out and finishing and rounding things so that they look good. At this point, I've got the gems placed. That's mostly because I needed to have the electronics in before I started finishing the cracks and crevices. We're going to be, again, going into the electronics in the second video, so that is all on its own. But there are a few spots where it's not perfectly aligned and where I can see a little edge, so we're going to fill that in with a bit of wood filler, sand it down once again, and make it look nice and pretty. There's also a couple spots where I say it's not even on both sides, near the crown at the top right. I filled that in so that they would look even. One was like a little bit more bulgy than the other, so to make them even, I just added more bulk with the wood filler. Okay, so I had kind of forgotten those little details near the top, and I just replaced them with some warble that I had on hand, some scrap warble, and stuck them in to the head of the staff. I maybe could have done it with a wood, but that would have taken a lot of time, a lot of effort, and they're kind of decorative. They're just kind of in there, so whatever. As long as I finish it and it looks the same and has the same texture, it's fine. The entirety of this is done up in a tan kind of wood color, and it's really basic color. It's not particularly excited, so I'm sorry for that. I do go over it with 3 coats to make sure that the finish is consistent. Also, so that I have to kind of fix a couple things. Alright, so when I'm painting the red section, I'm showing you in a second, it's kind of a pain in the butt to get in there, in where they're inset into the gems. So what ends up happening is I cover all of the area inside that indent with the tan. Then I go back over the flat facing with the red, and then anywhere where there's a line or a hiccup or some other problem, I then have to go fix with the tan. And it's a bit of patience to work with the very, very small kind of tools to make sure that the red looks nice and crisp inside those holes while not screwing with the brown, or sorry, tan. The gold is added after the fact, and it sits very nicely on top of the tan that we used as the base. It's just the typical way I add gold anyway. But the real work is first getting the red in there, then cleaning up the edges, and then going and cleaning up the gems then, because they got paint on them. And I'm using very small brushes at this point. I'm going to go and clean off the gems, and to make sure that they look nice and sparkly, I hit them with a layer of gloss to make sure that they are nice and shiny. The entire piece is, of course, hit with some gloss varnish, and the whole piece is nice and smooth and looks super finished. I think I hit it with 2 or 3 layers so that it looks especially polished, and I'm very happy with it. Oh well, we're gonna go into the lighting next. I'm pretty sure I said this like the 3rd time. Oh well, but if you're interested in that, check it out in the link in the description below. Good times to all. Rah! We will be continuing this over on FinalCosmicCore.com. The link to it is in the description.